The news started to ripple through locker rooms, group chats, and comment sections like a low rumble before a storm. Because when the Ravens quietly let it be known that they were circling a British star from the Commanders, the entire football world leaned forward in their seats. EFE OBADA is not just another name floating around the rumor mill. He is a symbol of how global the game has become, and the idea of him wearing purple and black feels almost cinematic. The chatter suggests that this is not a simple roster move, but a statement. The kind of statement that says the Ravens are thinking bigger than traditional pipelines. Fans are whispering that front office conversations have been intense, strategic, and maybe even a little daring, because bringing in a player with OBADA's background is about more than sacks and pressures. It is about narrative, identity, and energy. People close to the situation say the Ravens see something unique in his journey. A hunger forged far from the usual American football hotbeds. And that hunger is exactly what they want injected into their defense. The speculation paints a picture of a locker room buzzing with curiosity, veterans wondering how his presence might shift rotations, and young players seeing proof that the path to the league can start anywhere. This rumor feels alive, breathing through social media clips and late-night debates, carrying the sense that something unexpected is unfolding. What makes this rumor even more intriguing is the contrast between the cultures involved, because the Commanders and the Ravens operate with very different public faces, and OBADA sits right at that crossroads. Insiders hint that his time with Washington shaped him into a resilient professional, someone used to fighting for snaps and respect. And that experience could translate perfectly into Baltimore's famously demanding environment. The Ravens are known for valuing toughness, adaptability, and a certain blue-collar mentality. And people around the league are speculating that OBADA checks those boxes in ways that stats alone cannot show. There is talk that coaches have been studying his film not just for technique, but for effort plays, those moments where he refuses to give up on a rep. Fans on YouTube and podcasts are spinning theories about how his length and athleticism could be used creatively, maybe standing him up, maybe sliding him inside, maybe asking him to do things he was never fully unleashed to do before. The rumor carries a sense of anticipation, like a trailer to a movie that promises a twist, because no one is quite sure how it will look once it becomes reality. The idea of a British accent echoing through a Ravens practice is oddly compelling, and people cannot stop talking about what that symbolism means. There is also a deeper layer to this speculation that goes beyond scheme and fit, because EFE OBADA's story resonates on a human level that teams increasingly understand the value of. Whispers suggest the Ravens are aware that bringing him in could energize an international fan base, especially in the United Kingdom, where American football continues to grow. This is not being framed as a marketing stunt, at least not openly. But it would be naive to ignore the potential ripple effects. Imagine Ravens jerseys popping up in London pubs. Imagine young players overseas seeing a tangible connection to a franchise known for grit and success. The rumor mill says that executives are thinking about legacy, about how the Ravens brand can stand for opportunity and global reach without losing its core identity. At the same time, there is respect for what OBADA has already endured, the grind of carving out a career in a league that does not always make space for unconventional paths. The speculation suggests that Baltimore believes his presence could inspire not just fans, but teammates who are grinding on the margins. This rumor feels layered, textured, and emotionally charged, which is why it refuses to die down. As the narrative continues to swirl, some voices are cautioning that expectations need to be tempered, even while acknowledging the excitement. Rumor does not mean guarantee, and speculation can inflate visions beyond reality. But that has not stopped people from imagining how OBADA could thrive in a Ravens uniform. Analysts are talking about rotational roles, situational packages, and the possibility that his versatility could be his greatest asset. There is a sense that the Ravens might not be looking for a savior, but rather a catalyst, someone who can elevate a unit through energy and effort. The Commanders' connection adds spice to the story, because fans love a change of scenery arc, especially when it involves a player seeking a fresh chapter. The rumor suggests that OBADA himself is intrigued by the idea, drawn to the Ravens' reputation for player development and defensive innovation. Even without confirmation, the speculation has already shaped narratives, with people framing this potential move as a test of how open the league truly is to diverse backgrounds. The conversation has become less about a transaction and more about what football can represent in a global context. The emotional pull of this rumor is amplified by the Ravens' history of embracing players who fit their culture regardless of origin. People are recalling past moves that seemed unconventional at first but later made perfect sense. And they are drawing parallels to this situation. The speculation frames OBADA as someone who embodies resilience, a trait Baltimore fans cherish deeply. There is talk of how his journey could mesh with the city's blue-collar ethos, creating a bond that feels authentic rather than forced. You can almost hear a YouTuber leaning into the microphone, lowering their voice, and saying that this just feels right, even if it is not official yet. The rumor thrives on that feeling, on the emotional logic that sometimes matters more than spreadsheets. Discussions are filled with phrases like hidden upside and untapped potential, suggesting that the Ravens believe there is more to unlock. Whether that belief turns into reality remains to be seen, but the speculation itself has already captured imaginations across borders. By the time this rumor reaches its current pitch, it feels less like idle talk and more like a shared story people want to believe. The Ravens announcing a British star from the Commanders would send a jolt through the league, not because of shock value alone, but because of what it symbolizes. It would say that the game is evolving, that pathways are widening, and that franchises are willing to bet on character and story as much as on measurable traits, even without confirmation. The speculation has already done its job, igniting debate, hope, and curiosity. Fans are refreshing feeds, content creators are crafting thumbnails, and somewhere in the middle of it all is EFE OBADA, a player whose name now carries the weight of possibility. This rumor lives in that space between imagination and reality, where sports narratives thrive. And until it is resolved, it will continue to pulse through the football world with relentless energy. The second part of this unfolding speculation dives even deeper into how such a move could reshape perceptions on both sides of the Atlantic. Because if the Ravens truly move forward with EFE OBADA, it would not just be about filling a role. It would be about rewriting expectations. The whispers suggest that Baltimore sees an opportunity to challenge old assumptions about where elite defensive talent comes from. OBADA's British roots are being framed not as a novelty, but as evidence of a broader talent pool that teams have barely scratched. This rumor paints the Ravens as pioneers willing to lean into the future of the sport, where borders matter less and adaptability matters more. Content creators are imagining behind the scenes conversations where scouts argue passionately about upside, coaches debate usage, and executives weigh risk against reward. The tone of the speculation is not reckless, but confident. As if the Ravens believe they have done their homework, fans are dissecting every interview clip, every practice clip from his time with the Commanders, looking for hints that this transition could unlock something special. The narrative feels almost poetic, a player crossing oceans and teams to find the place where his skills truly align. There is also an undercurrent of intrigue about how OBADA himself might evolve in a new environment, and that is where the rumor gains emotional depth. The Ravens are known for demanding accountability and rewarding effort, and the speculation suggests that this structure could be exactly what OBADA needs to elevate his game. People are talking about how a fresh start can reignite motivation, especially for a player who has had to fight for recognition at every step. The Commander's chapter of his career is being described as foundational, a period that toughened him and prepared him for a bigger stage. The rumor hints that Baltimore offers that stage, a place where his versatility could be showcased rather than constrained. Fans are imagining him lining up in creative ways, surprising offenses that underestimate him. The speculation feeds on the idea that sometimes a change of scenery is not about escape, but about alignment. This part of the story is less about headlines and more about personal growth, which makes it resonate deeply as the conversation expands. Some are speculating about the ripple effect this move could have within the Ravens locker room. Bringing in a player with an unconventional background can challenge perspectives, spark curiosity, and even foster unity. The rumor suggests that teammates might rally around OBADA's journey, seeing it as a reminder that perseverance can open doors in unexpected ways. Coaches are rumored to appreciate players who bring unique perspectives, and there is talk that his presence could subtly influence team culture. This is not about distraction, but enrichment, about adding another layer to an already complex identity. Fans are discussing how younger players might look at OBADA and feel inspired, realizing that there is no single blueprint for success. The speculation frames the Ravens as a place Where stories converge, where talent and character intersect, that framing has power. And it is why this rumor has legs. It speaks to values that transcend wins and losses, focusing instead on what it means to belong. The business side of the rumor cannot be ignored either. Even if it remains unspoken in official channels, analysts are quietly acknowledging that a British player in a prominent role could strengthen the Ravens' international footprint. The speculation suggests that the franchise is aware of the growing appetite for American football abroad and sees authenticity as the key to engagement. OBADA is not being marketed as a gimmick, but as a genuine contributor whose story naturally draws attention. Fans overseas are already buzzing, sharing clips and debating what this could mean for their connection to the league. The rumor paints a picture of bridges being built, not through slogans, but through shared passion. This angle adds another dimension to the narrative, making it feel strategic without feeling cynical. It reinforces the idea that the Ravens are thinking holistically, blending football decisions with long-term vision. What keeps this rumor alive is the sense that it aligns with the Ravens' self-image as innovators who trust their evaluations. People are recalling moments when the franchise zigged while others zagged, and how those moments often paid off. The speculation suggests that bringing in OBADA would fit that pattern. A calculated bet on potential and fit rather than flash. Fans are arguing passionately in comment sections, some calling it a masterstroke, others urging patience. That tension fuels engagement, turning rumor into ongoing conversation. The YouTube-style narrative thrives here, building suspense, teasing possibilities, and inviting viewers to imagine outcomes. The story is not finished, and that open-ended quality is exactly why it captivates. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. In the end, this rumor about the Ravens and EFE OBADA feels like more than just talk. It feels like a snapshot of where the sport is headed. It captures a moment when boundaries blur, stories matter, and teams dare to think differently. Whether or not it becomes reality, the speculation has already sparked meaningful dialogue about opportunity, diversity, and the evolving identity of professional football. For now, it lives in the realm of possibility, fueled by hope, analysis, and imagination. And as long as that possibility exists, fans will keep watching, listening, and believing that something special could be on the horizon. The rumor continues to stretch its wings because every time it seems to slow down, a new angle appears and reignites the discussion around the Ravens and EFE OBADA. Now the speculation is drifting toward how this potential move could quietly influence the perception of defensive depth across the league. People are saying that Baltimore may be signaling confidence not just in their starters, but in the idea that competition breeds excellence. OBADA, in this narrative, is not arriving as a guaranteed centerpiece, but as a disruptor of comfort. Someone who forces everyone in the room to sharpen their edge. That kind of internal pressure is something the Ravens have historically embraced, and the rumor suggests this would be no different. Fans are imagining practices where intensity rises, where snaps are earned rather than given, and where effort becomes contagious. The talk frames OBADA as someone who thrives in those conditions, a player forged by uncertainty and challenge. This layer of speculation makes the story feel grounded, less about hype and more about philosophy. It paints the Ravens as architects of environments, not just collectors of talent, and OBADA as a piece that fits that vision in subtle but meaningful ways. Another fascinating thread in this ongoing speculation is how the media narrative itself might evolve. If this move becomes reality, content creators are already salivating at the thought of the storylines, the interviews, the behind-the-scenes features that would inevitably follow. The rumor hints that the Ravens understand the power of storytelling in the modern sports landscape, where engagement extends far beyond the field. OBADA's journey offers authenticity, struggle, and triumph, elements that resonate deeply with audiences craving more than surface-level analysis. The speculation suggests that Baltimore is comfortable operating in that space, allowing genuine stories to amplify their brand organically. Fans are picturing documentaries, mic'd-up moments, and viral clips that showcase not just performance, but personality. This is not about manufacturing drama, but about letting real narratives breathe. The rumor thrives on the belief that when a franchise aligns its values with compelling human stories, the impact can be profound. That belief keeps the conversation alive, feeding curiosity and emotional investment. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.